Hello, hello, hello. So I've sent you sufficient messages. Sorry for the mix-up. If you understood what it was like, you wouldn't be offended by it because it's literally just pure insanity. When I say insanity, imagine hundreds of messages every single day flooding your inbox. And even if you make a folder that's separate for just your clients, that being flooded as well, it's just been nuts. And yeah, well, anyways, so I mean, you purchased what, like the 22nd? So I don't know, like I always said 4 to 6 weeks, but regardless, it is a special type of reading. Also one that I'm excited to do, or that when I remembered, when I looked at the actual reading itself, I was like, oh yeah, this is that one I was talking about. So I'm jumping right on it. I like these kind of special ones. So let's just start off by, I mean, I reread the messages. I have all the info here. So let's start with Nick. We're gonna look at compatibility. We're gonna look at and see what we see with karma. So let's just kind of jump in. All right, so right off the bat, and we can even do this. Let's do this. This is better. This will be easier for me to see both at the same time. There you go. So Nick, Kristina. So Nick, Aquarius rising, North Node Aquarius in the first house with, so he's born 89, so he's born a few months before me. I was born 90. His moon is conjunct Chiron, interesting, and Jupiter in Cancer in the 6th house. And he's got that sun at 27 Libra. Let me just see something. I think it's 24. Yes, it's not conjunct Spica. Okay. 13. Okay, so overall, when I look at a chart like this, the first thing that comes to my mind is, okay, this kid is, he's around my age. He's what, 30, 32. He's my age, about to turn 33. And we see lots of indications of psychic potentials. When I look at a chart ruled by Uranus, hide these actually for now. When I look at a chart, ruled by Uranus, which is, in that conjunction, that triconjunction, in the 12th house with Neptune there too, being an Aquarius rising with a North Node Aquarius, I'm like, okay, so this could definitely have a special destiny, right? It's very unconventional, and it's definitely based on something different than what one's normally supposed to be, right? With North Node Aquarius, Aquarius is a sign that's different, that stands out, and in the first house, he's really trying to learn how to basically take all that 12th house energy, which, like, you mentioned something about, I'm not gonna say it, but about, kind of, I guess you could say, not a condition, but just kind of things about him to me, where it makes sense that someone who has, who has Aquarius rising, who has their chart ruler in the 12th house conjunct Neptune also, that they're going to be someone who's very, very in that kind of that realm, that 12th house realm of being very connected to the collective unconscious, and equally very connected to their environment, the people they're around. Definitely, and you add the Cancer moon conjunct Chiron, they're a mega empath, so super sensitive person. Now, Sun in Libra, 9th house. How I would look at this, in a normal circumstance with the Mars there too, is that it's typically an energy that can be a bit indecisive, very pleasant at its highest, but indecisive at its lowest. But definitely like, with Black and Lilith there too, there can be kind of issues when it comes to making decisions, I guess you could say, making decisions and sticking to them, and finding a right course of action. And when your moon is in Cancer, family is extremely important. So any disruptions in the family system, or even like where he's from, like I've seen charts like this where it's like, especially moon conjunct Chiron, like that's why I like to know nothing about the individual before. I always think that people who have that are natural born healers, but they have to go through like a very high level of healing themselves, right? And when it's in Cancer, the mother, right? Cancer is the mother, moon is the mother. You, the mother, it's no coincidence that you play a very massive role in his life and his emotional well-being. And I have the father's chart, or like, I guess the best, the 12 p.m. chart. Pulled up or ready to go or whatever. But definitely someone who, I see London, I know Sweden was mentioned, but let's just say like step one, where he is, he needs to have like an emotional connection, right? He needs to really feel like he belongs. It can be very difficult for an individual like this to exist. I've lived in London before. I know, and I think you mentioned he's back in Sweden. I literally just read all your messages, but I need to like reopen it because now this is a little bit different. Where I actually like know about all this stuff. Hold on. Let's open it up. Where'd you go? Okay. Okay, my phone. Why is it not working? Come on. Load. Okay, it's not. Regardless, we'll wait for that to load. But yeah, so right off the bat, that's kind of what I see. Libra, Black and Lilith can be someone who can sometimes acquiesce, not allow their voice to be heard, have trouble finding their own voice, especially. And I'm gonna actually bounce out of this one, just go here so we can pull all of this. But there's definitely like a need to, let's see what Mercury aspects. Yeah, exactly. Mercury square Saturn. So Mercury is squaring all of these. So to me, that's an indication of someone who has being an Aquarius rising, North Node Aquarius, who's trying to become like a more unconventional person. But there's definitely like, whether it was in childhood, like growing up like an early school environment. Is Mercury retrograde in the charts? Where is it? No. But there can definitely be an energy with Mercury conjunct Black Moon Lilith square all these other signs. You spoke about having issues, which I'm going to try to ignore because I'm going to try to do this objectively. Well, I would say that a lot of what can happen when you have these two conjunct, right, in Libra, is that some of the darker sides of Libra can come out in the way he thinks and the way he communicates. So some of the darker sides of Libra, I typically think of as people pleasing, not really knowing, who you not being able to really voice like your true self, your true being, your true essence, and it can be very difficult. And then when you add these squares to all these 12th house planets, right? And these 12th house planets are very, very psychic in their nature, right? They're very, very psychic. And I see lots of aspects to the moon also, because the moon's over here opposing all these. So he has a very difficult chart, which, that screams advanced soul to me right off the bat. It screams advanced soul. It screams like, old soul, someone who's taken on a lot of karma in this lifetime. And I think and there's also a T-square that's formed, a cardinal T-square, right? Because it's Mercury plus Mars, right? The Libra planets, the Cancer energy, and then the Capricorn energy. They're forming this T-square, which is very difficult, especially since it's in 6, 9, and 12. So in essence, there's a part that's very okay. So let's take them step by step, because we'll get too confused. Let's go with this Mercury stuff. So the Mercury conjunct Black Moon Lilith, I imagine there's some events or something that happened in childhood that kind of shook him. And being a Cancer moon, this is what I'm trying to explain, is that is a super sensitive kid, right? Super sensitive. The Chiron conjunction, even though Jupiter's there, it's gonna make any disruption with the regular family life, even moving, even having his friends, from earlier in life, any disruption can be can really create lots of volatility and lots of uneasiness. Now, when you also add that to the fact that he's Aquarius rising, he's meant to kind of stand out and be different, so some Aquarius rising can be kind of not recluses, but they can be the types of people that stand out and that just have trouble really feeling like they belong, right? The whole thing about the water bear, so they can be left out, ostracized at times, another time, but this is part of the karma with the North Node in the first house in Aquarius. It's in this lifetime he's trying to learn how to be, I would say, spiritual, but also just trying to be very, very authentic and very much giving to a giver, a humanitarian, but ultimately someone who does stuff for other people, individuates. It's all about individualization, finding that pure sense of who he is, right? I also have the same North Node. And what I found with in my own North Node journey is that, with my South Node and Leo, North Node, and their different houses and stuff, but basically actually no. Yeah, they're opposite houses, interestingly enough. So he's supposed to be kind of he's meant to be sort of his own person, right? His own very individual person. Now, and this is a really complicated chart, so this might take up a lot of time, or at least time, but just there's a lot to it, right? So with the Mercury, right? So this part of the T-square, and the T-square shoots out in Aries, right? So this is another astrology. I put puzzle pieces together. T-squares, it's like a bow and arrow. You see it shoots out, boom, around this area of where his Eris is, right? So it's literally saying that the way to get past, which I'll explain kind of overall what all this energy is, but the way to get past it all is through really being his own person, like really, or not being his own person, excuse me. That's one part, but also really finding his own Aries voice. Aries is that dominant kind of pioneering energy. And you know, when you have this T-square, it gets resolved by, you know, doing things like writing, like about just being assertive, in the sense where you can really assert your, where you can really like state your point and not always be thinking about how does this going to affect person A or person B, because he's so sensitive. He has so many of these energies. Now, with the Mercury, as I've been trying to get to, conjunct Black Moon Lilith, you know, it can create like someone who can be a people pleaser, someone who can have issues with that exact thing I just said of being in his own power and stating how he really feels. But then you have these three squares, mainly with Neptune and Saturn. The Saturn square of Mercury, that typically shows itself in childhood, is this Chiron in okay, it's in Cancer. So there's like, yeah, definitely emotional wounding around the family. And I'm not sorry to say, I'm just gonna say it. Chiron conjunct Moon. I mean, unless like in most cases the Moon is the mother, but in some cases, like, you know, when the Moon is the it's typically the mother, but there's like it's the least dominant parent. I still am not sure in my own chart. Like for years I've said that my Moon is my dad and my Sun is my mom. I would say, if like it's very hard to tell. There's cases for both, but I would say, yeah, my mom is my son, because she was a more active parent throughout my life. My dad is more the Moon, right? Which makes sense. My Moon is Sagittarius, my dad's a Sag rising, my Sun is Pisces, and my mom has her Mars in Pisces. So, or Mars or Venus, for which one. So it makes perfect sense, right? So there's lots of karmic wounding around your guys' relationship. And I would have to, like, you know, really you know, speak in more of like a counseling type of setting to kind of understand the dynamics deeper. But what I can see is that, you know, and we'll pull a composite, we'll pull everything, but that's one theme. Now with Jupiter there, though, that adds a lot of positivity to that. That adds a lot of positivity where are the nodes squaring? Let's see, no. So that adds a lot of positivity, and once again, this could be the father. The father is less involved. But that's like where a lot of the issue is from, like some karma with one parent. And the Jupiter there can make someone very emotionally expansive, where they're able to kind of understand their emotions and be more optimistic, kind of have this inner well of optimism. Even a Cancer Moon, which obviously is like, you know, the strongest moon placement and dignity, it makes someone very emotional. They feel everything right away. And conjunct Chiron, it makes so much pain, so much emotional pain that they've come into, which can be overwhelming. And when it kind of, I guess I'll go in order. When it's kind of like squaring, you know, this energy over here, it makes it so it's very difficult for him. So this might be what we're getting at, right? Like with what you told me, which I'm keeping private because these go on YouTube, and I don't like revealing, like, even though I'm completely anonymous. Actually, no, I'm gonna make this a private video, because I realized I leaked the last name. So I'm gonna make this a private video on YouTube, so only you see it. So yeah, with the Asperger, as you said, let me pull it back up. Let's see if it works this time. Okay, I guess I'll have to do it on my computer. Show my face again. But basically, like, let's see. Okay, pull Instagram. Switch accounts. Just as an Astro. Okay, where are you? Let's see if my computer's in. Okay, yeah, now I see it. So, okay. Now, and you have two sons, but you're not really worried about the other one. got it. Okay, so there's one message from you I wanted to like reread. Okay, so you're talking about Asher. Okay, so Gilbert's hobby, he's very Pisces, blah, blah, blah. Because my son, I am worried ancestral karma is not doing him well. Yes, he did move to Sweden 5 years ago, and I do think Sweden's healing for him. Yeah, once again, like as I was saying, Sweden, you know, unless he's living in like Stockholm, London is not a good place for someone with a chart like your kids, you know, your child's. Especially because that means that like if he's born in London, that means that his Chiron line is running right, or wait, no. But like because it's on an angle. But that there's still going to be an emphasis of whatever's on an angle. Where's MC? Yeah. Well, regardless, I think just astrocartography aside, like anything, you know, a more natural, chill environment would be very good healing for him. But I feel he has so much against him, and he was diagnosed with Asperger's. But personally, I hate putting people in boxes. I agree. Everyone has a place on this earth, and we do not need labels. Our main issue is the connection with family in Sweden. I never understood them or connected with them. It's definitely some bad karma in my family, and I really feel we need to heal all this so my son can move into a better life. Of course, the connection between him. So one hit I just got was like, and you can answer this for yourself. If there's like an over, because I don't know, like, you know, when you say Asperger's, I know there's like Elon Musk has Asperger's. Like I probably have some level of Asperger's. You know, like I have a very high IQ, and I used to like be like my parents, like I don't know if I do. I think I might have some Asperger's, honestly. I'm like dead serious. I don't really talk about it, but I think I have, it's on a spectrum. So I don't think I have like a super like a large amount, but I've seen how people like on the full like end of the spectrum can be, you know, like how they can be compared to someone like Elon Musk, where they can totally like work socially. So it doesn't give me that much of an image. So it's definitely some bad karma in my family. I really need to heal all this in their life. Or the connection between me and him has had. Okay, yeah. So the connection between you and him. So you are the moon. Challenges. But I feel like we are in a better place today. I would like to heal all the negative karma, and my son can get a life and be happy. Something is stopping his life. Okay, let's get into. Okay, so now I have a better picture. See, first, okay, let me see. Okay, talking about Deborah Silverman, I love it. Okay, so you're going into some, okay, yeah. My family has a very toxic karma all my life. I feel like I did belong in Sweden. So son moved there 5 years ago. He's such a man. My ill at ease with Sweden, my family. Interesting. Maybe you have some bad passive energy in Sweden that astrocartography would show. Because I have 3 plants in the 12th house. Is it possible to have a reading to look at me and my son and see what link we have? All right, karma, is he happy? He is happy to. I feel like a black shadow. Okay, a large ask, but nothing I cannot do. Yeah, so basically, here's what I'm gonna say. And this might not be the thing you want to hear, but I'm just gonna fucking say it. When I see this, I think that sometimes they're like, and this can be completely off, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. There can be sometimes an over attachment, because you guys clearly have like a very, you know, I know the mother instinct, but when I see this, there's lots of pain away from the, like, you know, with the mother and the son. And if he came to me with this reading, I would say, you know, you probably need to have space with your mother, redefine, you know, how the relationship is. I know that, you know, and let's just like pull your chart up if you have any of these things. Yeah. So I mean, Capricorn, like there can definitely be an energy of like, you know, you guys are very different people, right? And of course, like I'm gonna get into this industry. I mean, I see that your energy is falling into his 12th house, because you have a lot. All your planets are in Capricorn for the most part, or most of them, right? So that's like why there's so much like intense karma between you guys, is because you as a human being, just by interacting with him, you create, it kind of like brings up a lot of this past life energy you guys have. And the way to heal it, like being in different places can be very helpful, especially if he's very content in one, you're very content in the other. With that said, going back to his chart, being the Libra, right? He might not have the ability to really state how he truly feels, whether it's, mom, I need to like do my own life. I need to have my own space. I need to figure this shit out on my own. But with that said, you guys could have you did see you guys have a better relationship now. That's, there's been strife. The strife comes from the past lives, right? And I can relate, right? I get it. But what happens is that he has his own healing journey that he needs to do that you can't do for him. And sometimes the only way with that Jupiter, which I'll re-show the chart because I know you're studying astrology and it's probably useful to see the chart. So let's see. So like this, all your energy is going right here, and it's activating these energies, which he's meant to activate these on his own, right? His chart ruler is here. I believe, like as a man, he could be someone who struggles with that post I wrote about like the Capricorn and Cancer, like and how men it's more of a struggle to have like a Cancer moon / Capricorn moon / Pisces moon / Scorpio moon for a man. But overall, like I feel like there's issues with communication and issues of people pleasing that he might have. And then when you add that to the fact that like Mercury and the moon are in harsh aspects to these outer planets, it doesn't make anything easier. Like Neptune, and it's not really Uranus. Uranus is kind of as I would say chilling, because it's not really in range of the planets, while it's in Mars is kind of like fine. It's kind of on its own, and the sun is on its own. But Mercury, and the moon are very harshly aspected. So, the moon aspects are the most important ones. Moon opposite, let's just call it, I mean, you could say moon opposite Neptune and Saturn very, very intensely, and then Uranus a little bit less. But moon opposite Neptune can create lots of mental confusion, lots of emotional confusion, energy, and I'll put my face back on, an energy where it's like very difficult for him to kind of understand, I guess, who he is and how he feels about different things on an emotional level, right? There can be lots of like fog that can show up, right? And when there's moon opposite so moon in Cancer, right? So moon in Cancer, already the most very, very emotional, conjunct Chiron, which creates like so much healing that's meant to be done this lifetime. It takes a while, especially for a male, right? Like that, when you combine the opposition with Saturn, which could be the father, it can create lots of depression, right? Like moon, harsh aspects between moon and Saturn are very melancholic. He has just had his Saturn return, so I would imagine things are getting better, as you mentioned. So maybe it could be just, and my mom is the way where she's, she worried about me like until recently, and that's just the mother instinct, right? You would be a good mother if you weren't at some level like really wanting, loving your son and really caring about him. But moon opposite Saturn is super challenging because it makes one feel like sad and lonely and really misunderstood. And the misunderstood is even made even further by that Neptune, right? So the person who has this, like what they want most is like this deep emotional nourishment, Cancer moon, but then they feel like they can't get it, right? There's like so many obstacles, which like the Saturn return would have been very powerful for him in relieving at least that part of that aspect, right? I believe that his Saturn return, which he's just coming out of, recently, I mean, maybe just give him time, he has a special purpose for sure. I don't know the level of his Asperger's, of course, but you know, it's definitely like, so like there could be something very particular for him to do that he has to really find on his own. I keep getting this message of finding on his own, finding on his own, finding on his own. So like with the Saturn moon, it's like the relationship with the mother is super critical, right? And it determines how successful adult relationships are. And a lot of times, like the mother, I'm just saying like kind of how I've seen it and how it's played out in my experience as an astrologer. Sometimes the mother can be very strict, like cold, and basically like just not even from the mother, just emotional support in general, just like him needing such a high level. Like you could have two sons, right? They could be twins. Okay, it's an example. They could be born 2 months apart, exact same or like a year apart, whatever, who cares? But and have received the exact same nourishment, but the one with the Cancer moon conjunct Chiron may have needed this much love and this much care, while the other one may have needed this much, right? It's all different. So this makes it really difficult to share the emotions, and it makes it really, really, really fearful to get close to someone, especially the Cancer moon. Remember, Cancer is a sign that when things hit the fan, they crawl back in their shell, and they have lots of trouble trusting. So this is like a very, very high potential and a very big fear, of getting close to people. So like overcoming like these types of barriers, it takes a lot of patience and hard work. So that's kind of that. And then when you add Neptune, like I was saying before, that can it can create lots of emotional confusion, right? Like where what they feel, they almost can't really trust their intuition in certain ways, right? So they need and this is what the chart is asking for, is a high level of self-awareness to be able to deal with this, right? And coming to terms with like the different weak spots, but really it's that moon conjunct Chiron. But like what happens here is that there's an oversensitivity, which I keep seeing, I'm gonna say it a million times. And also like how the imagination can sway him in the wrong direction, right? Like imagining things that aren't real, right? Like for example, like a very like someone like saying something to him that like completely misinterpreting like a very like basic like how are you or something like something very basic or I hope you're doing well, and like being able to like take that message and interpret it through a filter that's very like how do you say, like there's an issue with how the emotions are filtered. And this goes with the communication too, because remember, Mercury is doing the square. So it makes like him very, very good and creative at all abstract communication. But when it comes to like the basic level stuff, it can be very difficult. There can be paranoia, over idealization, confusing feelings that just make one want to kind of just like not connect, also self-deception. What else can I say about this? Definitely like self-victimization is a kind of like a lower energy of this, self-pity, all that stuff. Like and obviously with Neptune, you have to watch out for addiction. You have to watch out for addiction, because if there's something that can serve as an escape. I mean, naturally, this is the kind of chart of like an artist, of someone who needs to find like whatever that healthy escape is. Like because with the Aquarius rising, with all this energy, there's definitely like this theme of feeling very misunderstood. And I would imagine like disappointments that have come up, especially when you add Mercury, right? Which is like how you think, how you talk, like just like feeling like, and that's where the whole Asperger's things comes in, because it's like potentially here we're talking about someone who might not be able to filter information in the correct way, right? So it's all about that increased self-awareness, and how that's done, right? There's a million different ways, right? There's an expression a counselor from a while ago taught me that from when I used to live in Orange County in California, said there's 6 different highways to get from Orange County to LA. metaphor, right? Like he could choose a path in music, of poetry, of astrology, of whatever, Rubik's cube. I don't know why I thought of that. Like anything, like math, like I mean, he's clearly if he's Asperger's, I mean, doesn't that mean he's very, very like intelligent? I would imagine. I'm getting the sense that he is. But it's about finding that warrior within him, and that is where it's very difficult, right? Because as a Cancer moon, there's that ability to want to shut off from the world. So ways to deal with this is like asking questions if he's unsure, and just like accepting, like going back to my what I was saying before, like that acceptance of the fact that you know, he is a more there's more of a feminine energy here, right? And then with all those 12th house planets, I mean, that's just like you know, giving him like, he's so tapped into the like I was saying earlier in the reading, he's so tapped into his environment, into like kind of the collective unconscious, into to just like what like the people he's around, he's so tapped in that it's extremely important for him to have periods of isolation, right? But yeah, you guys have a super karmic relationship. I mean, like goddamn, like everything falling, you know, like in my whole house system, and we can do a house overlay in a sec. I'm just trying to like kind of get to the bottom overlay of his chart. Like it's just like it's ridiculous. But then you look at his Venus, right, in Sag, right? That to me is a very strong part. I need to see the aspects. I need to share the screen again. You know, that could be a very strong point. Barring that there's, you know, no difficulty there. No, unaspected Venus. So unaspected Venus people tend to like put a lot of their eggs in the basket of love. Hi, Isaac. And as I was just talking about Cancer moon, here's a Cancer sun. So here, you know, unaspected Venus and Sag. I mean, this he could really be someone that benefits a ton from traveling, and traveling physically and metaphorically. Getting you know, in with different cultures and different worldviews. That's like how, you know, he can really benefit, and he really values that. So being stuck in one place is no good for him. And he likes to, like, yeah, you say he's learning another language. It's just like the karma with the mother is so intense. Like goddamn, there's so much healing you guys have to do. But the thing with healing is that you can be here in your healing journey, and he can be here, right? And sometimes it's the most difficult thing. I'm not a mother, I can't even speak to this about there's like some, especially when it's falling in the 12th house, some level of surrender, you know, needed. Like not surrender and letting go, like in the sense of I'm letting go of my kid. No, like just being like, okay, like I'm trusting the universe. You know, you have all this Capricorn energy, which is very like type A, first house, get it done, Sag moon. You know, it's very different than him. He's a lot more sensitive than you. I mean, based on what I'm seeing now, you know, he's affected by even the smallest of things, which can be difficult, or it can be a great talent. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, I think that like overall, like he could be someone who's meant to be a healer like later in life. It's just like he has to overcome all these difficult aspects. And you know, Pluto in the 10th, that to me, you know, usually indicates someone who in the classes would be in the 9th, someone who's meant to make a difference, you know, and either way you say it, Venus is there too, like through, like really meant to kind of like, he might not feel as though he's like a citizen of any particular country. He might really feel like a citizen of the world. He might really require lots of travel, lots of experience with different cultures before he like really finds his true home. He might not feel connected to like just one culture, you know, because he probably has lots of incarnations in tons of different cultures. And yeah, the Mars and Libra, I see them so much. It's just like it's the most indecisive energy in astrology. It's very difficult. And in essence, you know, it's about getting to that point of Aries, of the opposite sign of Aries, right? And figuring out like a set of strong values that he's able to attach himself to, and then just boom, going with those, you know. Sun is for the most part unaspected. You know, Moon square Mars too, of course, so we have to talk about that. That can make someone like that, especially with those positions. There can be like lots of like hidden anger, unexpressed anger. So that's another thing with Mars, which is only aspected by Chiron. You know, they're like, I'm just gonna say it, just like how I would say it with any client, like without knowing any information. There could be energy here, right, where there's like this like anger towards the mother, but because it's in Libra, it's unexpressed. So like learning how to communicate anger, resentment in a healthy way. Like I've had to go through this with my own family, and I have the same Chiron as him, right? I've had to kind of like express to members of my family like stuff that I held in for years, and it really opened up a lot. So it could be something similar for him. But yeah, you know, he's really trying to like kind of separate himself from a lot of like karmic influences and stuff of that nature. Now let's polarize this together. Let's do, what should I do? Should I do a dual wheel? Yeah, let's do that. So let's do, no, not dual wheel, inner wheel. Bi-wheel, I mean. So inner, let's have him. Okay, so you see all your planets falling in his 12th house. You know, your Venus falling on his Saturn, Sun close to Neptune. Basically, like what happens when you guys have like connections is that he's reminded of a lot of like really difficult past life energy, right? You know, I had a post a while ago of like he's like indicators of a karmic relationship, and one of them was lots of one person's planets falling in the other person's 12th house. Now your ascendant is Capricorn, which makes your 12th house. Who is this? Okay, it's not you. Your 12th house would be what? Not Cancer. It would be Scorpio, right? No, I'm crazy. Why am I so crazy? It would be Sag. So, you know, his Venus falls in your 12th house. Okay, whatever. That's not much anything. That's actually more positive from his end. So, that's kind of what I'm getting, is that like just looking at this is that when you guys interact, it might be a lot, and I have to see the composite. I'm gonna pull that up next. It might be really difficult for him. I need to pull his father's chart up too. He might just feel like really, really intense energies. And you guys also have the same like opposite nodes. So another key indicator of a karmic relationship, like where you're trying to get or where he's trying to get, you have that naturally, right? Your south node is 19 degrees Aquarius and his is 22 Aquarius. So there's so much multifaceted stuff here, right? So on one hand, it's like you have to be very, very sensitive to the fact that like you probably feel like an expansive energy when you're around him, in the sense of what he gives back to you, but he might feel like overwhelmed by these very unconscious energies, and you know, it's just difficult, and it's energy that, you know, it's best overcome through those tough conversations, you know, those tough conversations that none of us want to have. Now with the individual aspects, you know, Venus and Saturn, you know, that, you know, your Venus falling on his Saturn, I mean, I would think that would be a good thing, because I would think that like at its highest energy, but Venus in Capricorn though, it can be quite tough, right? So that's your personality. Capricorn is tough, it's go-getter, and you know, he has trouble. So there could even be some projection here, in the sense of like, you know, you having your own personality, your own, you know, very Capricornian chart, right? And of course in Placidus you would have everything in the 12th house too, though, like your energies, right? So I use whole signs, But either way, like, you know, you're tapped into you guys are both very tapped into like this collective unconscious energy. And you know, I just think that like when you guys interact, that he feels a lot that he can't put into words, and that might bring up that kind of this energy over here, that Chiron and the moon. So I got like a message of like, let him come to you. I don't know if it's if how that's applicable, but like, you know how like cats, you know, you don't give them attention as much. They come to you when they're ready to be pet, right? As I stare at my cat sleeping. When I do readings, they always come to me. But when I try to pet them, they don't want to be pet some of the time, besides Mika. And it could be some of that. So it's like this kind of tough line between like, how can I be supportive, especially like being that you are a exact model of like where he's trying to get, because you have conquered that you know, that South Node and Aquarius energy, related to you know, like you're in this life trying to you know trying to learn how to be kind of in the center stage, right? Kind of trying to be that more Leo person. He's been there, he's done that. So, you know, you're definitely a guide for him, but there can definitely be this overwhelming energy, and he's already putting up with enough. Now, I'm going to tell you, his chart is a chart that gets easier with time. 1000%, it gets easier with time. All these Saturn aspects, I imagine that they've already gotten a lot easier, and they're just getting easier and easier. But there's still some, you know, a lot of difficulty. So that's kind of, you know, one hit I get. Let's see here. Your Neptune falling on his Pluto is interesting. You know, I would associate that with like how, you know, your sense of, and let's see, it's in the ninth house for you, and it's in, like basically like traveling together could be something. And I know you know, like everyone has their own budgets and everything like that, but like just like adventuring, learning different things together, that you know, common interest, that can be something very, very healing. And then your Pluto is vertex, but ultimately like you have this like very, very intense role of like at the same time being very sensitive to him and his need for space, and his own healing process throughout life. But also, you know, Pluto on the vertex is that you're really, really here to help him. You know, you're really, really here. Fated encounter, right? Like very, very fated. Everything's fated, but like extremely karmic relationship where you're really here to help him. I can't, you know, I can't make assumptions on what happened in past lives between you two. I can look at the composite and kind of get some better ideas. But you know, just all the energy in the 12th is that there's definitely unfinished business, and you know, there's probably like some, especially with his moon, the 6th house, and you know, moon, there's an imbalance, right? There's an imbalance, and it might not make sense based on what happened in this life, but in past lives, you know, maybe like you know, there was some pain that was unresolved. That's what, like, literally, like I could say so many things, but like there is a lot of pain that's unresolved. Now, yeah, definitely, like with your midheaven falling on, like on his midheaven, you guys have very like similar ascendants, so like that's gonna be all lined up. I mean, like you guys can like be, you guys can be very, you guys could like work, like I know it could sound bizarre to you, but you guys could like do some type of work together. Like you guys might have like your Venus is in, you know, obviously, you know, Venus in Sagittarius and Capricorn. I mean, on some level, there's a difference between what you guys value. However, there are some similarities, and finding those common bonds that are not so deep, like not like so like let's heal this karma, like that might be really overwhelming for him. You're a Sag moon, you're like me, I have a Sag moon. So Sag moons, they see the positivity in everything. We see everything as a learning experience, and we don't feel as deeply as the people of the Cancer moons. So having that empathy is very important. I feel like there's gonna be so much that's shown when I pull up this composite chart. I just have this feeling. But I want to see stuff with the dad. But yeah, so 12th house, I mean, like, house of repressed energies, house of karmic imbalances. That's massive. Let's see. Okay, is there anything opposite 16? Yeah, and then of course your sun is opposite his moon. So like that goes further with my argument, right? And your Venus also, like, the core essence of who you are, like your identity is at odds with his emotional nature. So you guys are super different people, but still meant to really guide. You're really meant to guide him through this life. But I feel like there might have to be like some kind of, I guess you could say, like, I don't want to say switch up, but like an alteration in terms of how it's done. Which, like, we can definitely, if you're still interested after me not answering your messages, definitely something that, like, that's kind of in the category of something that's easier to kind of talk about. But you did say, whatever, you can let me know about that. But so that's a tough one already. And then also, let's see, 13. So we'll see what's going on with the nodes. 22. Yeah. So okay. So your Neptune squares is south node. So, and then is there anything Taurus and in Aquarius 22? Yeah. So I mean, that makes me think that, like, in some way in a past life, I'm just gonna say it, Neptune is a planet of deception, and the square, it means tension. So you may have, like, deceived him in some way in a past life. There may have been some form of deception. And because of that deception, whatever it was, like, I can even tell you the story with me and my own father, right? Like, there's a past life that I, was working with him in more of like a kind of, I was like an astrologer doing kind of a similar thing I'm doing now. He was more of a businessman, and I, I started, like, getting jealous of people, like, who were benefiting a lot from what I was giving them information wise, but they weren't giving me respect. And my dad was one of those people, so I started giving these people faulty information. My dad had his empire collapse, or his, like, well, whatever, you believe what you want, but it totally makes sense. And then he karmically kind of held on to that blame. Now, we don't remember past lives, right? So I had a tough time with my father growing up, and when I learned that from my psychic Jacqueline, it made so much sense. Which you should probably, like, speak with Jacqueline as well. She only charges $50 for a session. She's based in Los Angeles. I met her in person. She's an angel. I only recommend her to certain people, but she can kind of give some more color to this. But yeah, that's a big one I see, like, how you could have deceived him in a past life, lied to, like lie. That's the word that came to me. Lie, like some kind of lie. And when I see Venus conjunct Saturn, you guys could have been married in a past life. I'm just saying it. I know it sounds weird. I've had to, I said there's something similar in my chart with me and my own mother's, but so it happens, right? This is how souls are. They reincarnate as sister, lover, brother, friend, business partner, whatever it is. So there could have been some deception, and then there can be some issues and lots of healing that he needs to do around you. Now, I just need to highlight even further, sometimes I need to repeat things because they're extremely important and they come through to me intuitively, and I just need to repeat them. Two things. Capricorn compared to what he has going on is extremely different. Not to mention, what I haven't even mentioned before, is that your Capricorn stellium squares his Libra stellium. So that's even more difficult energy. That's even more misunderstandings, right? We could get into each one, but I'm not going to do a 50-hour reading, you know? I mean, for example, Sun square Mercury, right? Sun square Mercury. What would comes to your mind around that, right? Just the fact that Mercury, like, there's that whole thing, that whole communication thing, like there's a disruption, there's tension, there's an inability for you guys to communicate correctly. Communication is very difficult for you guys, and it all goes back to that past life deception. He's in being a Cancer moon, it's hard for him to trust, but time heals all, my friend. Time heals all. Time and space. Aside from that, his Mars squares your Mercury, so it's like, I mean, do I have to keep going? I mean, his Sun squares your ascendant. I mean, like, there's so many squares and oppositions, like it's ridiculous. You know, is his Venus do anything? Okay, there we go. There's a nice one. You know, and this is kind of backing what I'm saying, that his, you know, your Jupiter and your South Node is sextiling his Venus. So there you go. That's an area of travel, expansion, learning together. When he's ready, you know, being that leader, to kind of help show him what Aquarius energy is all about, like how it's okay to have your own voice. You know, as a Capricorn, it's not Aries, but it's pretty damn close in terms of how Capricorns can kind of go about their business, right? They go about their business to get it done. Aries too, which is where the T-square lands for him. So that's how you can guide him, but you can only guide him. You can, what's the expression with the horse? You can bring the horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink it. You know, if he's gonna have to do what he's gonna have to do, you know, I understand like why like there's so much tension in this chart, because there's so many squares, so many oppositions, such different types of people. You know, the moon being what I consider the most important part of the chart. Moon in Cancer, most sensitive. Moon in Sag, it's not the least sensitive. It's just like it doesn't necessarily like see the negative and feel emotions in that same type of way. It doesn't deal with emotions. It's very future oriented. It's like the most future oriented moon sign, you, which is trying to fix everything and see the brighter side, very optimistic. With him, moon in close conjunction to Chiron in Cancer, which is the most past oriented. So he could still, like, there could be things from your guys' past. I'm not talking about karmic past, even past this lifetime, that you think are okay, that are moved on from, but really because of he has this inability to really communicate his true feelings, which can be passive aggression, which can build up and cause all kinds of stuff. He might still be holding on to these things. So just saying. Let's see this. Okay, let's see the father. So, okay. So I see some similar energy with the Pluto conjunct North Node, how his father also has an important role to help him kind of move towards his own shadow work. Your dad or your husband's North Node in Pisces. I think he has a way more chill karmic relationship with your father, judging by the fact that his son is very, very, there's not really any difficult aspects. Husband being a Pisces, which is very, you know, Pisces and Cancer moon. There's just like your husband having all this Pisces energy, there's just a better understanding, and their moons are exactly the same and ascendants. So come on, the father naturally, like, you and your son's chart are so different, but you have so much love, so much deep karmic love, that it's so frustrating. But the husband is like amazing karma with your son. So your son's going to feel a lot more comfortable going through the medium of your husband, being that they're both, like they're both water, like he has all this water, which can really, really naturally, and they have the exact same moon sign to the degree, like one, an ascendant is like 1 degree off. Like the father is extremely important in the healing journey, even if the healing journey relates to the mother. But really, it's not just the mother; it's all the emotional baggage accumulated from past lives, shown by these oppositions in the 12th house. Being of service could be the best possible thing. I don't know, like, about his level of Asperger's. I don't know that. But finding like a career, like with his midheaven in, where is it? In Sag, conjunct Venus, with the chart rule in Uranus, like finding a career where he feels genuinely like he's giving back, and like he's like expanding his own philosophy, his own view of the world. That's super important. Super, super important. But yeah, everything with the father, like A1, like that is like a great relationship. I mean, even his Chiron is conjunct his North Node, so you can help him on his healing journey, or on his he's able to kind of heal, like have a very, he has a very healing and soothing effect. And I don't know if you and your husband, I assume, live together, and I think your husband is from London and you're from, I'm so confused with the whole Sweden thing. But regardless of what Sweden is, or is he married? I have no idea what Sweden is or what Sweden represents. Or wait, you may have said that. Let me go back. Why is my camera off? Okay, let me go back and see what I can see. And yeah, you said you have 2 planets in the 12th house. I mean, that's from Placidus, like, remember, I use whole signs, but yeah, I still when I see things like that, I'll bring Placidus into the picture. Okay, so your mom's in Sweden. Okay. I definitely think a course would be good. I mean, if you're trying to really understand all this stuff, because only so much can be said in a reading. Like, there's so much information here. Where the hell is this Sweden? Yeah. So another thing about like what I'm sensing is like the worries, right? So that's like a big message for me too, is letting go, like learning to let go, learning to like let go in a healthy way. He's more, and like I said, I don't know what his level of Asperger's is, so I don't know how much letting go can be done. But you said the thing about putting people in boxes. I completely agree, unless it's like a severe, like debilitating form, which usually would be like, wouldn't be Asperger's. As long, you said he's independent in Sweden. I think he just needs to heal. He just needs time to heal. And your guys' relationship, there's just so much energy there that like it just needs space, in my opinion. It just needs space. Without even knowing you, it just needs space. And the father can kind of be the medium, because there's so much more comfort. Not necessarily comfort, but there's just so much more like energies that are kind of in the same zone, right? Energies that are similar. So And yeah, you guys both, interesting. And both you and your husband have your, well, I guess you guys were born similar. The Saturn on the Venus thing. So yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely a deep, deep karmic love that both of you guys share for your son. Is there anything 20? Okay. 25. Okay, so that's fixed. Is there anything in Scorpio? Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay, new developments. So, that's interesting. I didn't expect that. So, the husband's south node and Mars are square his south node. So that actually indicates not such easy karma between son and father as well. Mars square south node in synastry is fighting, battling, it's not necessarily like that extreme violence, but definitely like some level, like in past lives, of just, so this is like the thing with the whole family karma that I'm getting just from these two charts. And I need to see like way more charts. Like I need to see like everyone's chart to really, 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 really understand it. Like other son, your mom. I mean, just like people who you think are really, like the bloodline. But what I'm getting at is like I keep seeing these squares with the south node. I mean, look, 22, 23, and we all know 22, and we all know 22 degrees is a difficult degree. But so your son's facing a shit ton of karma in this lifetime, and yeah, even with the father, Mars square, south node square. So yeah, there's some past life tension between father and son, but because of how your father's energy is in this lifetime, it's a lot easier for him to connect. But there's still that kind of, I don't want to say mistrust, but those past life memories that the son can't remember. So I could see why the son would want to be independent and have space. But yeah, the father is definitely like they get each other on a way deeper level. Let's pull up the big bad, not big bad. Let's see what we see here. Let's see what we see. I love the composite chart. If you don't know, the composite chart is a chart of when you combine two nail charts. Come on, show me. Okay. Stop it. Okay. No, not Patsy. Okay, I think maybe there's some selected elements. Yes. Where did that go? Okay. Now we are talking. And yeah, I'm posting this on private. This is a private one. I'm not gonna post this on public. I can't post something that's personal on public. I hope I don't forget. It's such a tendency for me to forget. Just public. So this is your guys' composite. This is the chart that's born out of your guys' relation. So what I want to do, I wish I could do 3. Actually, I have an idea. Let me pull the dual wheel of the composite and Nick. So, let's see. So, no. Oh, okay. Okay. So, by the way, my composite chart is all messed up. I kind of have to do it in my head. You see, it's such a 15 degrees. I can't figure out a damn way to get to start where it should start at 0 degrees. So the ascendant is at 0 Aquarius, which is the same as his ascendant, very similar, which makes Uranus the ruler. So this is 12, 11, 10. Okay. There we go. There we go. So this is 7, 8, 9. So 9th house, Moon conjunct Pluto in Libra. So look at where that falls. Look at the magic. Where is this Pluto slash Moon, which is speaking when you have Moon conjunct Pluto in any chart, composite, natal, whatever, it represents deep emotional, just like such intense shadow, right? Now here, it's conjuncting the Mercury. So you guys, I already said this, and this is why, like I feel like I channel these readings because I say things earlier and then I get like more and more backing for them. You guys need to have like conversations that are not easy to have. Like there's a lot of darkness, like Moon conjunct Pluto is like, it's like the emotional nature of your guys' combination is very linked to the shadowy aspects of Libra. But not necessarily even just Libra, just in general. Hi, Esme. It's just that there's lots of darkness, and there's lots of conversations that need to be had. Wait, I wasn't even sharing the screen. Lots of conversations that need to be had around that are just so deep and so difficult to have. So that's the first thing I notice. Lots of energy in Sag, which in this case is the 11th. So that goes back to what I was saying earlier about having common goals and potentially learning together. Even if it's like learning about spirituality, because I see the midheaven conjunct Neptune. And let's see, the IC. And then the IC is ruled by Mercury. So, and Mercury is conjunct the sun. So basically, like, and it's in Sagittarius, and it's conjunct the midheaven. So, and Neptune. So basically, what does that mean? Well, and then you have Mars and Scorpio on the 29th degree. That's so intense. But really, like, the healing is like when you guys are able to, I don't know, do humanitarian work together, have common goals, things you share in common, finding like where that common ground is, like things that are more light, maybe more based on teamwork, like Sagittarian energy, like higher philosophy, like finding higher truth. Like, is there any, like, I wonder, is there any like common out, like shared belief systems? Is he like completely anti-astrology, anti-spirituality, or is there inklings of like, interest in that, right? And maybe there is, and it's just kind of blocked by some of those oppositions. South Node in Scorpio is literally like ruled by Mars at 29 degrees Scorpio. There's no better, like you can't say anything else besides the fact that there's just such intense, like dark past life karma between you guys. And what can come up is like unconscious triggers. And you mentioned a lot about like family karma, like karmic curses. I'm not seeing anything like, because I would see that down here. I mean, if anything, I'm seeing Jupiter, and yeah, Chiron, I guess, is also there, but Jupiter's there too in the 4th house. North node is because that's what house? That's 1, 2, 3. So it's 3rd house. So 4th house is, wait, hold up. 1, 2. So this is 4th. So actually, interestingly enough, right as I was saying that, Chiron, the healer, is conjunct the North node on, like, close to the IC in the 4th house, which rules kind of ancestry. And it's in basically kind of saying that, like, you guys are meant to heal some of this this trauma. And the clue, which is the sign of how that's done, is Taurus. Now, what is Taurus? Taurus is calm. Taurus is grounded. Taurus is through the senses. It's simple, simplicity, the simpler, easier things in life, right? A sense of groundedness between you two is needed to really, really heal. Because your guys' North node in Taurus, to me, is saying that, like, in Placidus, of course, it would have been in the 3rd house. It's literally like, the Placidus is like almost making more sense with this, interestingly. But basically, like, that's once again another thing about 3rd house's communication. So what happens when you combine Taurus in Gemini, so / Taurus in the 3rd house, Taurus in communication, and it's on the other side of the IC, so I would rule that, like, 3rd house regardless. Even if I was using whole signs, I would still say that's, like, even though in my system it would be it would be 4th, I would still think about it as a 3rd. To me, that's just like a clear-cut indication that finding ways to communicate in very calm, loving, grounded ways, that's the healing. Okay, so let's see. But, like, I just can't get away from how many of these indicators, like moon in like moon and Pluto together, like that makes it so, like, when you guys are together, like, for an extended period of time or just in general, that these dark, unconscious, like, where are they coming from, emotions come up. But what is the key? I'm standing up a little bit. Sometimes I need to walk when I do these readings to gain more insight. It helps me. Now, what is the key with Pluto? Pluto represents death, rebirth, and transformation. So when we couple that with everything we've talked about, and then the fact that Mars at 29 degrees, ruling that part of the chart, was it the South node, right? I need to go back and see. Mars, yeah. So South node in Scorpio, ruled by Mars at 29 degrees Scorpio. It's literally like saying that, like death, rebirth, transformation. And that is super, super, like, it can feel like you're walking on eggshells. It can be very, very difficult. But ultimately, like, that's kind of where the healing is. The healing is when you take the road less traveled, and when it comes to that whole Plutonian Scorpionic archetype, it has to do with letting go. It has to do with letting go and allowing new energy to come in. So that's what I'm seeing. And then with the whole Mars, South Node thing, Scorpio, which is ruled by Mars, like, right here, to me, that's just an indication of, like, more of that kind of that rage, that past life rage. I mean, I'm sorry, this is not like your flowery, like, reading. I mean, I call it how I see it. You can go to the Leo King, you could go to any good astrologer, and they're not, I mean, maybe like some would be like, it's perfect. Like, you guys have a lot of like crazy karma, but that doesn't mean it's all bad. It doesn't mean that love isn't there. Even going back to that square from earlier, like it could have been the case that you guys that there was like with the father, excuse me, that there was just like disputes, right, in past lives, like siblings disputes, or it could have been the case that you guys like there's some type of like war situation. I'm not a psychic, so the only way I I like to send, and I haven't done it in a long time, so feel honored that I'm giving you this, but I send very few clients to Jacqueline when I feel like she is able to where I feel like she would be able to kind of give more insights, especially when it has to do with past lives. And what I mean by that, I give symbolism, she can give events. I'm not a psychic. I can't look at these charts and say what that means, but I guarantee you, because this has never not happened, that if you were to get a reading, like I said, it's $50. I feel like you might think I get like a cut of her stuff or something. Like I've sent like probably hundreds of people to her in the past, but I've done it less lately because I don't know. I feel like protective of her. I don't want her to get too bombarded, but she could charge like $500 for what she does. She just doesn't, because she's that kind of she's not she's older, and she's doing it for, she has a gift, and she believes that if she overcharges for the gift, which I also believe for myself, that things can go wrong. And I'm not going to tell you more about her, but she's a great person. But yeah, just overall, I think like also like this big thing between you two is like you teaching him how to be authentic, and you teaching him how to be unconventional. But like, man, there's so much that has it's like there's like these stages. I see these stages where it's like stage one, that healing has to happen. Like for all that other part of the chart, of like these charts to open up, the healing has to happen, right? If the healing doesn't happen, which as I said, it might not be a linear situation. It might be something that takes time. It takes like a very like bizarre, and maybe it's not what you want, like in terms of like kind of how it is, but a different attitude, and more like, and I can't even like compare it because I don't know your energy towards him, but like earth signs, more Virgo, but Capricorns at times also, not as much as Virgos. I don't want to put you in the Virgo category, but they earth energy can worry. It can worry, but that doesn't help, necessarily, unless he's like in a really like horrible situation. Like sometimes it's like with cats. I use cats because I'm staring at two of them right now. I'll put my face back on. Like sometimes they just need space. Sometimes they just need space. And then they come to you once they've had the realizations. But yeah, let's see what aspects are going on here. So not too many actually. Wow, there's like no, like, I mean, you guys have like a nice sun sextile moon in your composite, so I could definitely see that being a good thing. But with all the other, everything else I've seen, like, yeah. And once again, I do see the potential for working together in like kind of spiritual, philosophical type way, or like contributing to each other's kind of like dharma, and just like how important it is with midheaven on the midheaven, how that can really relate to spirituality, higher idealism, all that energy, like really being super powerful for your guys' healing. But yeah, lots of interesting stuff there. Let's go back to your chart. Yeah, so your chart's like very intense because it's just like so different. Either way, the 12th house is highlighted. I mean, if you use whole signs, everything's in the first house and the moon's in the 12th house. You use Placidus, I'm sure the moon's in the 11th, and you know, the energy of all the Capricorn energy is in the 12th. Regardless, the 12th is highlighted. And I'm just gonna say it, when you have all, let's just say, like, for the sake of Placidus, because you did message me talking about Placidus, like 12th house energy is the house of self-deception and repressed energies. So it can be very difficult to kind of see things within yourself, which can obviously, you know, impact relationships and whatnot. Wow, you're midheaven in the 12th house. Never seen that before. That's super interesting. That kind of makes me think that like your like life's work is like really like literally like all the like it's so like your life's work, your dharma is like so related to like healing like various karma. I mean, I'm not gonna like, I guess I could look at you like just I'm not gonna do like a full like composite of you and your husband, but I could see what generally shows up. Yeah, there you go. I mean, like look at like I need to share this. Wait, did I do this correctly? Yeah. Night and day. Night and day. You and your husband's composite. Moon and the love sign of Libra in the first house conjunct North Node. You guys are soulmates. North Node conjunct Moon, first house. You guys are meant to really like be a couple and help each other individuate. You know, this is very powerful. A nice third house, Jupiter. You know, and this is just so fun. Like look at the difference between the composite you and your son, the composite you and your husband. Like look at that. Like you've got like the sun in Aquarius conjunct Venus, planet of love, and Mercury. Yeah, Chiron there, but it's like, you know, I mean, you guys are meant to heal something of your own, but it's like you have like this amazing energy in the fifth house, the fun fifth house of Leo. You know, with the sun there in Aquarius, very, you know, very like intuitive relationship filled with love. Sun being, you know, the conjunct Venus, like that goes without saying. Venus, the planet of love, conjunct the sun, the composite. It goes without saying. Mars in freaking Pisces, major romantic energy. And then South Node in the 7th house. Well, wait, hold up. 1 second. What? Wait. Why is it starting ascendant here? Well, it's even better. I have to like turn my computer. Like, what is going on? It's not starting this like, why is it making the ascendant? Okay, this is weird. I don't know how to fix this, but why is it starting at freaking Libra, 0 degrees? So this is the first house. Basically, it's even better because it's pretty much like what I was saying before, but your North Node and your moon for your husband is in the 7th house of marriage. First house, South Node in the first house. Yeah. So this would be 7th. 8th house Jupiter. So that's that instead of being about communication, that's like you guys have this like dynamic kind of psychic kind of connection, intuitive connection. Probably like really like wanting to like travel together and experience and learn together. But then the 9th house Saturn might kind of push some of those travels away. And then, yeah, 10th house is where the sun is and this Venus and all that those planets are. And the 11th house is where this is, but that's still beautiful because it's like, it's a house that shows that you guys have like a very special dharma, where I don't use 10th house as career, it's dharma, what you guys are meant to do on like a big like life kind of like grand life level. So, the fact that Venus is there and Jupiter is there to help the stellium in Aquarius, as you guys get each other, you guys are able to talk about very like unconventional ideas. So like, yeah, there's this real ease of communication. Now with Venus, with that conjunction, but this isn't what this reading was about. Basically, it's just showcasing like the difference between the two charts. So yeah, I think your son like could really benefit. I don't know how open he is in spirituality from I guess I'll show myself. He could definitely benefit from like dream journaling, meditation, where he like just meditates and then just start the Jungian like automatic writing, stuff like that. Through meditations, he would be able to get in contact with like the collective unconscious and really like get downloads. He would like receive downloads. But like what I keep seeing your guys' chart is this IC ruled by Mercury. So like you see the theme here? It's communication, right? His chart. These two. So that's what's hard, and that's probably what's made issues with you and him. And even with his dad, let's see. Yeah, I see in Virgo. The other Mercury one. And then for you, I see in Gemini. So all of you guys have your IC in Mercury planets, which is literally talking about the need, from my view, with all the other aspects, putting it all together. I have no idea how I have the capacity to like have all of this stuff in my brain at once. But I do, and I am saying this right now, that this is all connected to lapses in communication that may have taken place from past life to past life to past life to past life. There's things that need to be said that might fucking suck. Excuse my language, missus, but I have to say the F word there. That might suck in the moment. But there's karmic clearing that needs to happen. That is undoubtable. And like, yeah, when I see that, it really, I wish I you would have been able to do like the other sun as well. It is what it is, synchronicities. But overall, he's got a tough chart. He's got one of the toughest charts I've seen, probably top 5, top 10. So just have that compassion for him. He's getting past his Saturn return. He probably had a very tough first 30 years of his life. Give him time to come into his own, encourage. I mean, I can't give parenting advice. I'm not a parent, but like, that's just what I see. And also like, cause I don't know, like, like these are the probabilities. These aren't the Like, I don't know how the lived experience. I just know from the few messages you sent me. But usually, like, what I see here is that, like, yeah, it's a communication, which can be very difficult. I would buy the book if you haven't read it, called Nonviolent Communication. I think everyone in the world should read that book. It is very, very good at explaining, like, ways to communicate. And I don't, like I sense a lot of frustration in this chart. And yeah, I mean, I think he just needs to kind of, it's very complicated, like the resolution from a parental perspective. But yeah, he's really just trying to become his own person, his own authentic self. And with Aquarius, with Uranus, like, it takes time. It really takes time to get past Moon opposite all those outer planets in the 12th house. Takes time. To get past Moon square the stellium in Libra takes time. And as I said, this extreme T-square shoots right into his Eris, right into his 3rd house. Eris is this volcanic kind of part of us. So kind of finding that power. Once again, 3rd house, communication. And you know what? I'm just going to say it right now. And this is how I'm probably going to end this reading, because I really can't think of anything else to add to this. That there might be some things that he needs to say that he hasn't said that might not feel the best to hear in the moment. And I'm not directing that at you or your husband or anyone, but like, it could be even people he grew up with. It's the 3rd house is siblings, right? And I haven't even seen your other son's chart, but 3rd house is siblings. So maybe it's the sibling, maybe it's a collection. But the point, and maybe it's people, 3rd house is also his early schooling environment. So maybe it's something with that too. The point is this: he needs to let that fire out, to find that fire and to let it out, and to just state what he needs to state. No matter how difficult it is, that's what the chart's asking. Anyways, I hope that this helped. Let me check something really quickly. Oh, you did get a follow. Okay, so never mind. So we will talk. Yeah. Dan, you got like the best deal I've ever given, probably. I was like, wow. Or at least in the last, like, probably year-ish. Besides, like, free readings, raffle winners. Anything else? Yeah. Well, I'm happy we had the follow-up. That is going to be incredibly useful. And once again, I'm sorry for the miscommunication. I'm sure that you have gotten past that, or you've seen kind of by now where I've come from. Yeah, we'll talk. So the fact that, yeah, that really helps me a lot. The fact that we'll talk live, and that will be very, very interesting, and we'll be able to uncover a lot in that. So talk soon, and I hope this helped. And yeah, talk soon. All right, bye.